Welcome, listeners, to the podcast of the living zombie. In this crisp, I don't know. I'll get this out on like November 7th or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit later than we thought here.
I mean, yeah, I got
Definitely
started.
won't be before Halloween, but
Yeah, I was busy. I had stuff to do, and yeah, I might actually get this edited over the weekend. I'm not, that could be possible. I'm just giving myself wheel room because I think this is going to be a hair longer. As you might notice from the title, our chat room is called Zombie 5 through 7.
yeah.
I'm Kyle, the host, by the way.
And I'm Cody. I'm completely left in the dark here because I don't think have we done a zombie movie.
We did Zombie 4 for a
Like I
live
know
stream.
you and Curtis might have. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, reintroduction to the zombie movies for because it's one of the namesakes of the spinoff. Names Background on the zombie movies. So, Dawn of the Dead was released in certain European markets as Zombie with a no e at the end, and a bunch of the Italians in particular decided to release a few sequels that were like in name only, and that's how we got Zombies. I'll say 2 through 4. If you're in the UK, you know this franchise as Zombie Flesh Eater. If you were around in the day, um, the first one we're going to talk about today is Zombie 5 Killing Birds, which in the UK is called Zombie Flesh Eater 4. I guess Killing Birds. And it's also just occasionally just known as Killing Birds. A lot of the regular releases just have the title called Killing Birds. But yeah, so there are a bunch of so there are just a bunch of in name only sequels to Dawn of the Dead. Essentially, none of them are up to the quality of Dawn of the Dead. But Zombie 2, it was at least sort of good. It was all right. Liked it. Kind of nice. Zombie 3, lots of fun. Lots of fun. Genuinely lots of fun. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I thought it was fun. Nice little action zombie movie. Zombie 4, yeah, you're starting to get a bit of a drop off. Um, and then you totally lose the plot with Zombie 5, Killing Birds. This is just the silliest thing ever because not only like is it stretching the very tenuous definition of like what this franchise is. I literally sent Cody a timestamp and I'm like just like okay, just watch this movie from like minute 50.
From 54 minutes,
Oh yeah,
right?
54 minutes. Yeah, 54 actually is what I gave him.
Was
It's
I correct?
yep. Yeah, no, you're right.
Because I definitely watched it from 54 minutes. Because if I didn't, then I don't know what we were exactly on about.
Nope, no, you're right. I misspoke. That was different.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I did that is because that's when the zombies show up in Zombie 5.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, they are not in any earlier point of that movie. Okay, sorry.
Like not even hinted at, or like
Okay, so I to be fair, the commonly quoted statistic for this movie is that the zombies do not show up until 45 minutes. That is technically true in that at the 45-minute mark you see a brief shot of a zombie, but the zombie does not do anything, and it is just like a shock factor, and you could easily also interpret that as just like a shot of a standing dead person. And then 9 minutes later you get like the
yeah.
actual zombie part of the movie.
So when the main character, like, or one of the girls, I guess, but like who gets killed off at the first point in time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the first
I'm
time
just
you
trying to
actually
get
kill a
everything
zombie.
into like connotations here because I didn't do any like research on this
Mhm.
movie or anything prior to. watching anything. So like I didn't even like read the plot summary on like Wikipedia or anything else. So I was just like I kind of wanted to keep it as blind as possible when like going in to watch this because it's kind of not my rodeo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so the first 54 minutes of that movie is about well, the intro of that movie is fucking the guy who played Napoleon Solo on TV. He's at the beginning of the movie, like his character kills a bunch of people, and then that's apparently the impetus for why there are zombies in the house that the main characters end up in. A house the main characters end up in because they're pursuing some like thought to be extinct bird.
so is it like a curse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the birds were the cause of the zombie virus in this movie, and it's like, oh, that's kind of an interesting concept we don't often see, like um, kind of like a
Yeah.
bird flu causing an infection. But I guess like the early zombie movies really didn't follow the like infectious disease route. They normally went towards dark magic or voodoo or and I guess like the Zombie 7 is a different like can of beans altogether, but
Oh, I'm gonna take you down a little wild ride here about my thoughts on why I did this the way I did it.
but like if we were to go through the zombie 1 through 5, I guess, or 1 through 4. 4 was voodoo. I don't know what 3 was or 2 or 1 was.
You know,
But I guess
yeah,
if it was a Dawn of the Dead ripoff, then it would been
yeah.
whatever happened in Dawn of the Dead. I can't remember.
So and here's another thing about the title. You'd think by the title "Zombie 5 Killing Birds," this would make some use of some sort of zombified birds or something. No, that's actually Zombie 3. Zombie 3 uses zombie birds quite effectively. It's actually the method for which the zombie virus is spread in that movie. Whereas
Yeah.
this movie has zombies in that there are 3 of them. They don't really do that much. They're just climax stuff. I'd warrant that this movie isn't really about killing birds either, or killer birds, or birds that kill people. They are birds that are maybe meant to be ominous, but the birds do not actually do something. They rip out Napoleon Solo's eye at the beginning of the movie, and that is it.
Cool, like, even that in, like, the premise of, like, "Oh, how did the birds get a zombie virus? They ate somebody who had a zombie virus's eye and then proceeded to fly all over North America, spreading their disease like the filthy fucking flying pit or rats with wings that they are." Is, like, a feasible zombie movie plot, like
Yeah, and it was a good idea when they did that in Zombie 3. But yeah, you're really not getting much out of this. I barely want to bring up the phone just to bring up the name of the director because I forget. Uh,
Francis something.
yeah, directed by Aristide Massasici and Claudio Latanzi.
Okay, I was way off apparently. I might be thinking of, Zombie 7.
Yeah, yeah. Robert Vaughn is frickin' Napoleon Solo, I think. Yeah, or well, he's not Napoleon Solo in this movie, but uh, yeah,
And what year was this produced?
this movie's 1988.
Okay.
So
So 3 years older than the 7th.
yeah, okay, so because I've basically said my piece on Zombie 5, Zombie 6 is where we really start to get off the rails with this franchise. Because at least with Zombies 1 through 5, you in theory have a lineage. I mean, even if Zombie 5 is just they threw the name on the title for like VHS sales, which is all most of this has ever been. They're throwing the zombie title onto various movies so that they can get better VHS sales in the United States and in Europe or whatever. Trying to uh, path like ape off the prestige of Dawn of the Dead and to a lesser extent maybe like Zombie 2, which is the other respected one. But Zombie 6, and this is a this is a thing here. Uh Zombie 6 may not even be Zombie 6. The reason I don't feel bad about calling it Zombie 6 is because smarter men than me have made this mistake. People that know more than me have made the mistake in air quotes. But Zombie 6 is the one I did not make you watch. It seems to have only been called Zombie 6 via a VHS release where it was called Zombie 6 Monster Hunter. In reality, the film is another Italian movie, a slasher film called Rosso Sang or Song, meaning like red blood or blood red, which is released in English most commonly as Absurd, which is a pseudo sequel to a movie called Anthropophagus, a pseudo sequel in that it's just like a movie that has like a bunch of the same actors and does a lot of similar premises. Anthropophagus is also like sometimes called Zombie 7. We'll maybe review it next year because I could actually call that I'm a little more comfortable doing that on its own as a zombie movie. Absurd does not have a zombie in it, which is why I didn't make you watch it. The only sense in which the bad guy from Absurd, played by George Eastman, is a zombie they have to kill him by shooting him in the head or cutting off his head, and he is resistant to a lot of wounds. But it's not because he's a zombie; it's because he's like a secret government super soldier who has gone insane. The movie is not a zombie movie, it's a Halloween clone. It's also released 7 years before Zombie 5.
Sorry, as reading into this director's past, and apparently before he did this, he worked in porn.
Oh, Joe D'Amato? Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
maybe not like directly before this. Yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, he's semi like famous for it.
120 adult films.
Yeah, they might be counting like a lot of his films are like rated like X or R, like that might be a distinction that is less firm in Europe than it would be here.
Hmm.
And there are also just films that like he does that aren't like strictly speaking what you'd consider a porno. Like like they do half time between porn stuff and like a gory horror movie, but would still have to like legally be
Okay,
called
fair
like an
enough.
adult film. But yeah, maybe they were trying to get like a little bit more prestige onto the zombie franchise by having Joe D'Amato injected into it because he is considered a better director than like he's probably a little bit more a little closer to Fulci who directed Zombie 2 than some of the guys who directed Zombie 5. But I mean that's also just a call that like some VHS company made. Also, like the Wikipedia entry for that is not sourced, but other people have claimed has been called Zombie 6, and I have seen a VHS cover for this that says Zombie 6. So it'd be a pretty convincing internet prank if it was otherwise. But it might just it's probably just a single release as Zombie 6. It's not regularly called that.
He also directed Endgame. Not the Endgame you're thinking of, the 1983 film Endgame.
Yeah, that's why I've kind of so we're kind of just glazing through Zombie 6. Not much happens. It's a really dumb movie. Not very good. It's got some like decent gory kill scenes if that's what you're looking for. They got a weird thing where they have this Greek priest who's Catholic for some reason instead of Greek Orthodox, which I suppose is possible, but it's just a little odd. Who's like a Greek Catholic biochemist who created this super soldier we just trying to get rid of, and he is the Dr. Loomis of this movie. But yeah, it's also got like this lady who's in like a spinal like harness, and she has to break out of it to kill the monster at the end. They have a really annoying there's a really annoying kid in it who has to like get who runs around, and he's like banging on a door that like the girl in the spinal brace has no way of opening, just to seemingly pretend that they can get us to pull at our heartstrings. It's a really bad movie. So if I'm giving scores, I'm giving like I'm giving, you know what? Both those movies get a 2. Honestly, I can't stand either of them.
Fair enough.
Also, Zombie 5 just has like a naked baby in it. Just awful. I didn't like that. Oh, the twist from Killing Birds was that the main character in Killing Birds is a boy who is like the baby who survived the killing spree at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah. Um yeah, you may have seen a thing on the computer where it says welcome home James or whatever, and that's why they were saying that, is cuz which I mean none of it makes any sense because
it was Steven.
yeah, I don't know why they kill him and his friends. So those were two terrible movies. They were maybe trying to be something better than they were. We're going to go talk about another deeply probably terrible movie that I weirdly found somewhat endearing. Uh, so yeah, the movie we're really gonna talk about this week, a movie which has been referred to as Zombie 7, more popularly known as Zombie 90 Extreme Pestilence, directed by Andreas Schnoss. Content warning for this film, if you do choose to watch it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it it includes some pretty graphic genital mutilation scenes at like the 14 and 40-minute marks, which yeah, that can be a thing a lot of people don't want to watch. I would have been fine not watching it.
Yeah, and I mean, you would have been fine that with them not even like putting it in at all. Like, I don't know why they need to like. I guess they're going for like shock value, but like it's all like high school drama club level acting. So I don't, and like visual effects. So like,
It's all most of it's very fake looking for what it's worth. One of them's more convincing than the other two, but it's very fake looking. If that helps, I don't mean to like, but a little bit of context for this to give you some context. The other films Andreas Schnoss is made known for is a trilogy of films, the Violent Shit trilogy. Literally what it's called.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the kind of guy we're looking at. Notably other thing, this guy's German, not Italian. So this has literally no relation to the other zombie films, even in like theoretical production like contrary things. Um it doesn't even have almost certainly doesn't even have like a VHS release as Zombie 7. So why am I calling it Zombie 7? You may be asking. Have you heard of the Cinema Snob, the YouTube channel?
yes,
Okay. So I'm a fairly big fan. I don't know. I haven't watched his stuff in a while, but so he one of my favorite series of like he's kind of he's how I found out about the zombie films. He's checked them out at different times throughout like thing. A lot of them don't like or only exist as like real uploads now. Terribly popular. I've thought of maybe like reviewing one of his movies on the channel at one point, but I don't know. Brad Jones is the guy's like name actually. But yeah, so why am I bringing that up? So it became a little bit of a thing where they were trying to get him to review different movies, and I guess he figures that somebody altered the IMDb or Wikipedia page for Zombie 90 Extreme Pestilence and gave it the title an alternate title of Zombie 7. There is a Photoshop of it that exists, but as far as I can tell, it's not a real thing. So, I mean, Brad at least thinks that this was done to get him to review a weird movie, which I mean, fair, I guess. It worked. He reviewed it, and now I'm reviewing it.
Yeah, apparently he did a zombie action film in 2006.
Yeah. Um.
Uh,
Yeah, I
under
think
his,
he's done other stuff, but
I don't know how to say his name.
yeah. Um. So what? So if it's such a fake movie, such a fake not official zombie sequel, why did I bother reviewing it? I think on some level, I wanted to pay tribute to the fact that this series of events is what got me into these movies, and made me want to watch all of them. And it's what's going to make me want to watch the Australian zombie movies, which are totally different random things, and I got to research where those come from. It'll make me do the alternate zombie sevens, the alternate zombie fives, and just other stuff like that. This is sort of a finale for this sort of the like portion of podcast of the living zombie, because just as to get it, because this is the end of what I'd maybe generously call the official zombie movies, and I'm kind of just paying tribute to it, and it's just as I watched Zombie 90 and just listen to the very silly dub of this movie, which comes out in English, was the other reason why it's famous, is that some guys made a joke dubbing of this movie, and because Andreas Sloss took a liking to it and decided to make it the official English release of this movie. So somewhere out there's a German language cut of this movie. I've never seen it. I think a lot of people haven't seen it. It's actually, I think, fairly rare, at least in English. I don't know if anyone's made a big effort to subtitle it or anything. Which is a very silly dub because they make this very white German guy give him a jive accent. I have not found out who did the English dub of this movie. Whoever you are, kudos. You did kind of save this. You did a really good job. This is probably why this movie's memorable. Not sure if it's a white guy doing a jive impression. Probably is. One of the only thing that might make me lean against that is that some of the side characters sort of have the accent too, but a lot lighter, which may just be that he only knows the one accent and he's not very good at this. But yeah, because I think they only have 3 people do the dub of this movie pretty well or whatever. But it's really it's really funny. But as I watched it, and I thought I wouldn't find anything, that it would just be some random nonsense to cap off this journey I've taken some of my friends on. And I realized this is a way better Zombie 5 than Zombie 5 is. Like, it revisits. This actually strikes me as something like a zombie. Honestly, it probably would have been a good Zombie 4. It's sticking with the biogenetic angle. You could even argue that they're just slightly retconning the zombie virus in this is caused by some AIDS antivirus, which mutates into a zombie virus. And I guess you could maybe, if you squint hard enough, mistake it from the zombie agent from Zombie 3 Death 2. And believe it or not, I found there was a weird character arc with this movie where the main character's just this like complete psycho, and I'm like, oh geez, this guy's as bad as the zombies. And then the movie started agreeing with that assessment, and they moved on through the movie and like made this concerted point to say like, yeah, this guy is just as bad as the zombies in a lot of way. He's a great big psycho, and it also kind of goes back to the roots of like this of like the concept of the zombie going back to the classic story I Am Legend, where like you have the the human character realizing that he has become the monster, and it's sort of like harkening back. And I have no reason to believe Andreas is like this competent, but maybe I can dream. Maybe if I try hard enough, I can believe this is the real Zombie 5 or even 4. And now you've realized my deranged delusions about this movie is that in trying to prank the cinema snob like 10 years ago, the fans discovered the real Zombie 5. I'm going to go through the episode, but it just feels like I'm going off on a low note.
Oh,
Yeah. Or no,
okay, that makes way more sense.
what?
I've been sitting here mute trying to fucking have a
Oh,
discussion with you.
I'm
Apparently
go
that doesn't
ahead,
work at
speak.
all. Uh, I was so there's like an actual film out there with like an actual like plot line somewhere, right?
Of this film? Like of Zombie
Yeah.
90?
Yes.
Not really, probably not.
Like what I'm saying is there's an English dub clearly, but like an English dub of what?
Um, Cody, I don't think you understand. This guy directed a series of movies called Violent Shit, which are literally just anthology movies of like him doing violent shit. Like this is more plot than he's ever put
Oh,
in a movie ever before.
okay.
Yeah, this is the plot heavy
So
movie
somebody
he made.
just dubbed over it to the
Yeah,
that was released, and it was submitted by the film's composer.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I haven't found proper credits on the English cast of this. Try as I might, I googled for like an hour, couldn't find anything. But yeah, apparently Andreas heard the joke dub of this that somebody had made, and he just did, like decreed it the official dub, or the English dub. So there is a German version of this. It's almost certainly not as good, but I think it is more or less what you see on screen, with maybe more uh like serious dialogue. I don't know.
It's
Which is a terrifying thought.
like, yeah, I guess it's like, what do you want to get out of this movie at this point? And like, do you want just another like shitty, trashy like
Yeah.
1970s zombie movie, or do you want something that's gonna at least like make you laugh?
Yeah.
So
And you will probably laugh at the price of having to watch some fake genital mutilation. Which, I mean, it's not a price everyone's willing to pay, but it's out there. But yeah, I've kind of embraced this as the real Zombie 5. There's no way I'm finding like a VHS of this. There's no way. I don't even know what it was. Just this is a goof. I wonder what I'm gonna go eBay and find out what Zombie 90's worth. There's no way it's cheap. Also, another funny story. This movie was released in 91.
yeah,
Yeah, which close enough.
like not understanding that these were like potentially an actual like anthology series. That's like they definitely like shit the bed on this one for having like what is it? Almost like 6 years of like camera upgrades at this point or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, these are made for like no budget. But oh, $145 Canadian to get a VHS of Zombie 90. Oh, okay. There's a $58 one, which is a little bit better.
I'm only seeing DVD copies for £86. Oh, I'm apparently in Amazon.de, and I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, no VH
Oh yeah,
VHSs this like seem to regularly cost like $130. The $58 may even just
they're
be
currently
a
out of order too.
oh $58 one's an auction. So I'm not buying it. I have other things I need to spend my money on. But anyway, but yeah, this is I have developed a little bit of an affection for this movie for what it's worth. I would never say it's good, but I have an affection for it. Maybe it's just because I had to watch two bad movies before I watched this one. The movie opens by stating that there was this Black Ops jet that crashed in the middle of, I guess, Germany with like this AIDS antivirus that caused a zombie plague, which our main character somehow knows about. Yeah, Dr. Burns, the character's name. Yeah, he apparently knows about this for whatever reason. God, the cast. There's no information on this movie. This does not have a Wikipedia page. I barely have an IMDb page. It has a few guys on it. It's none of the guys have pictures. There's a lot of extras, but they don't really do much. The makeup varies between extra to extra. I don't know what the budget on this thing is. It seems pretty light, but yeah, that's just where it is. But yeah, there was a big plane that crashed in the middle of the thing, and it's gonna eventually cause zombies. And you see the doctors, some doctors performing operation on this guy. Very sort of fake looking operation. I think the incision they're working through is literally like 2 inches long, and they're working on it, and they're just like, oh geez, this guy's starting to like breathe again while we're operating on him. And then Burn, did I say his name was Burn? I forget this. Our Jive Talking Hero. Our Jive Talking Hero, played by the body played by Matthias Curl. The voice, tragically as of yet unknown. Uh, he is just like, oh geez, shoot, I'm gonna shoot this guy, because he's clearly a zombie, and he like is very much like the Van Helsing of this movie, where he just knows how the monsters work, and he will like explain everything about what's happening here, and he hasn't done anything about it. Him and Dr. Simons, one of this his compatriot, who talks in a squeaky voice like this. They go out into the forest to go find out the source of this, which he knows about. Yeah, we get a scene intermittently where like a zombie chops a guy in half with a chainsaw. A chainsaw that will be reused by our hero later in the movie. They reuse a lot of props in this, possibly as a metaphor for the fact that our hero is going to become more like the monsters he seeks to defeat.
No,
How dare I try to pretend this movie has pathos?
let's be honest, there is not that much foresight into this.
Yeah. No, they're gonna put me in film critic jail for this. When I get, when I get to the pearly gates, fucking Roger Ebert is gonna be just like, you tried to claim that like zombie that Zombie 7 is a real movie. Get out. And he's gonna kick me out of critic heaven. I don't know. What is critic heaven? What even happens there? What, are all the movies good? I don't believe you. So yeah, there's just no build up. It is literally out of nowhere, that little zombie cutting a guy in half scene. Our next scene is two ladies. One of which is voiced by like an actress, and one of them is voiced by just some guy making a girly voice because she's a heavier set person, and the joke is that she's a heavy lady. And then these two women get brutally murdered, and this is one of the two scenes I warned you about. Uh, so yeah, not much goes on here. You can skip this if you need it. It has no bearing on anything. Our heroes don't even show up to deal with these ones, so at least the heroes show up at the end of the other one. But yeah, just some zombies come in and kill these ladies. So then they're examining our heroes are examining some zombies, and then apparently their gardener has become a zombie, and yeah, so they have to kill the gardener, I guess. They go to investigate the source of the virus. They get some hazmat suits, which they do not make any sort of use out of. Like their masks immediately get lost, and then they immediately get splattered with lots of blood. So yeah, because they get in a scuffle with the zombies. Simons gets bitten. Our hero, Dr. Byrne, does a bunch of one-liners in it. He's actually really funny to listen to. And then just cuts of zombies' head off with his with an axe, which he has. Um
I love
Meanwhile,
how
Simon
many
just gets a
people are like
mouthful of blood, of fake blood.
sitting here toting this as like the world's like German gore scene. Uh, some of them are saying it's even at the top of the German gore scene. And if this is the top, I don't really want to know what the bottom is. Like,
I think they mean top is in the goriest.
yeah, but that's what I'm. Okay.
Yeah. I don't I don't think they're actually measuring the quality of the gore, Cody.
Yeah, but like, if you're gonna tout this as the top, because like, okay, this tagline is saying the ultimate gore film on IMDb. I wouldn't really call it the ultimate of anything either.
I mean, this is one of the like great questions of the universe. Is a gore can a gore film be good?
No,
Yeah, I mean that's sort of your answer. Um,
maybe.
yeah, I don't know, but I mean there are
I
definitely
grew up on like Saw, so like I kind of like know,
yeah. I mean yeah, it's a philosophical
but I
question when you
don't
think about
know. Nope.
it. Cuddy, I just need you to admit that the Zombie 90 is a film that makes you ask questions about the nature of filmmaking itself. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
Not even touching on that one. To be fair, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. I have it open right now, and it's under goofs. It says when the wheelbarrow-bound woman and her infant are killed, the plastic doll is obviously being used for the baby being ripped apart effect. What did they expected? Like 1990?
On like and not even like good 1990 budget, like $500 1990 budget.
It's somebody marked this as helpful.
It is the world's fakest baby when they get to it. Um, that's like a scene and a half away. So our next scene, we get a guy and a girl in a car making out in what is probably would otherwise have been the grossest scene in the film, where they just have the worst kissing sound effects I've ever heard in my life. And they he ends the girl hears something. So the guy goes out and goes to check on it with his gun, and he's just like, I gotta go take a shit anyway. And ends up finding zombies, and they get attacked by zombies. Oh, and a worm jumps out of the zombie's chest like an alien to get at the guy who is going to check on going to go take a shit. Never touched upon again.
This whole scene was a mess.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I don't have an explanation for that. Um yeah, it literally just does a chest burster. Like a really cheap chest burster, and it jumps out and goes into the guy's eye. It's, yeah.
If I wanted to sum up this whole entire film, and I had to take one clip with like zero context, this would be it. This whole scene.
But so Dr. Simon's got like cut and bitten in the previous fight scene. So uh Dr. Jivespeak is going it tries to treat the wounds, and he's like, "Oh, don't bleed on my car." And he bleeds on the car. They end up pulling over a little while later to go because they're trying to take him to a hospital, and he's just like, "Oh, we're going to take you to a hospital." Well, a mental hospital. But I mean, at least respect my veterinary license, which he's saying is a joke. Because I mean, given the earlier scenes of this movie, he clearly doesn't have a veterinary license, so that's like an intentional joke. It's very clever. I like it. Speaking of mental hospital, they send us over to a picture of a guy pushing a lady in a wheelchair, presumably holding a baby, but you don't get a good look at the baby. But a zombie sneaks up on the lady on the wheelchair, cuts off her head, and then takes the baby and then rips the baby doll in half because it's just a doll. I don't feel a need to give you a content warning for that because it is the world's fakest baby. I could not make a faker baby if I had physically tried. Just the fakest, plasticest thing in the world. So Dr. Jivespeak has pulled across the two ladies, the guy and the girl who had been making out, and he finds their car. And finally, we're connecting the plot to one of the side zombie scenes. So for at least one of these side scenes has been relevant, which is what's important. Um, so we see that this is the other genital mutilation scene. We see that the lady is has been turned into a zombie and is taking a bite out of his lower region. It's the scene that you all immediately thought of when I described that. We won't get into it a bit more. So they get into a fight. He kills the lady with a weird looking sword. The guy goes to chase after Simons, who's slumping around in the vehicle. Dr. Benz, is that his real name? Dr. Byrne, gets a hold of him and rips off the zombie's penis and then throws it in the road so that he can run over it. Because that's a thing that needed to happen. And this is why I say he's as much of a psycho as the zombies. Because the zombies do equally psychotic shit throughout this movie. And we see him slowly becoming the monster he seeks to destroy. It's not entirely clear he's going to destroy the monsters either. I'm not entirely clear on what he's planning to do in all this. I think he's maybe just trying to get a research thing, but I don't know. They just go to the middle of the forest to try to find the source of this virus. And yeah, it ends in this whole thing. Simons ends up wandering off. He is turned into a zombie, and Benz has to kill him. And he, at that point, decides he needs to go home. So he does. Next scene, we get a guided tour, which is attacked by a bunch of zombies, and we get a big zombie eating scene. That's pretty well all it. That's all I have for notes. A tour group gets attacked by a bunch of zombies. Next scene, our hero gets a phone call, and he decides to go back out to go check out the zombies. He gets into a fight with them. He chainsaws a bunch of zombies. he pushes one down a hill. When the zombie he pushes down a hill starts to get back up, we get a neat slow neat I say reservedly, just like very weakly. I guess it's neat, and he like pulls out the gun and shoots the zombie, and that which just explodes the head. It is a sort of kind of nice effect for this movie. Yeah, and then he uses the chainsaw from earlier in the movie to cut another guy in half. He takes a while to start it because he's having trouble starting it as like a goof. He falls downhill while holding the chainsaw, sort of implying that maybe he fell on it, and then he ends up in a dream state where he dreams about a toilet, and he can't find any toilet paper, and we get to look back in it and see that he has taken a violent shit, if you will, a reference to this true auteur's previous work. I am giving this man more intellectual rigor than anyone has ever given him in his entire life. You're welcome, Andreas. Yeah, he walks through this house. He faces a bunch of zombies. He finds an image of himself who spits out blood, further uh, like lending credence to my theory. He says a bunch of the zombies look like Jimi Hendrix and Morrison. What's Morrison's first name from The Doors?
Jim Morrison?
Jim Morrison. Yep. They do not look like these guys.
No. I think they're more so making a comment on the fact that they look like heroin addicts, and both Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix were notorious like heroin addicts in their careers.
Okay, see, that actually makes sense. You've actually made that make sense. Thank you,
Yeah, I
Cody.
thought they were eventually going to make a a Kurt Cobain joke, but I guess that would have been a little bit 91 might have been
Yeah, he's
too
not
early
dead yet.
for him.
No,
So
I don't even think the album's out yet.
no, he dies in like 94, like 6 months.
Okay, so when this movie comes out, like Nevermind comes out in the next year, or like within the year.
Okay, maybe I was way off.
Yeah. Very much. Yeah, this is very much not going to be a thing yet. But yeah, no, okay. You actually made that. No one else pointed that out. I don't know why not, but yeah, good for you. You've actually brought something. You've also
Probably because I know way too much about people like famous musicians who died posthumously because like I think Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, and Kurt Cobain are all a part of the 27 Club.
meaning they died before they were 27.
It died while they were 27 and like at the height of their career. Yeah,
Huh. Well, uh, thank you, Cody, for contributing the idea that this movie is clever.
it's not.
You've played right into my hands.
It's like maybe the only line in it that I found interesting, except for the one where the guy's like, "I need to go take a shit," and then he's like, "I'm gonna take this gun with me because it's the only thing that like covers up the smells of my shits." So
Yeah. For what it's worth, I think you are the only one to get that joke. It seems like.
I mean, it wasn't hard.
Anyway, our hero also gets blood on his hands, further symbolizing my point. We get a shaky cam scene. He wakes up as one of the zombies in the dream is about to get him, and then a zombie in real life gets him. Yeah, and that's the end of the movie. I say, tossing my notebook to the other side of the couch, which is running out of pages. I need to get another notebook. Anyway, that is the movie. The deep, subversive, uh, internally consistent. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a movie where they stare into the mirror. I was a lot more convincing earlier. I'm kind of ruining myself. This episode was not longer as long as I thought it would be. Although I did not spend a lot of time on Zombie 5, which I thought I was going to.
I'm assuming we're Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we'd be at an hour and a half, but
I mean, Zombie 90's only 70 minutes long.
yes. Yeah.
So, Zombie 90, the fakest of the zombie films. I'm going to put it like mid-tier. It's better than Zombie 4. I'll say that. I don't know if I'd say is it better than Zombie 3? For now I'm putting it on the same tier list as Zombie 3. That's where I'm at with this. Yeah, we're as an update, I'm going to keep the season for this open, but next year we'll do Return of the Living Dead 3, and then I guess the big finale of that year is going to be with John Romero's Survival of the Dead. That'll be something. Get the last of the Romero films. The last of the truly good films of any of the ones I've covered on this. I guess, yeah, because it's. And then I don't think I think there's Return of the Living Dead 4 eventually. So that'll probably be the year after that. Because I think there's a Return of the Living Dead 4. Oh, yeah, there's. I guess there's 5. But I think 2 of them are reboots. Oh, no. They made 2000. They made Return of the Living Deads in 2005, and they look serious. They're like serious movies. Oh, maybe one of them's not. Okay, one's serious, one's just called Rave to the Grave. So we got a little bit left of Return of the Living Dead stuff. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at. After that, I don't know. The Zack Snyder of the Dead franchise has been canceled. As a little bit of news. So we're not getting Planet of the Dead, it sounds like, which I guess makes sense. So yeah. Um I don't know. What are you giving this movie? What are you giving this movie, Cody? I didn't ask you that.
Like two.
Oh boy, I have a moral quandary because I don't I don't know how much I want to sniff my own farts here. Because if I gave this movie a high score, it sounds disingenuous. What did I give Zombie? I'm gonna give this a really controversial 8 out of 10. Nope, 7 out of 10. Nope. You know what? 6. I was just like, no, I'm not giving it a. I can't justify that. I'm giving it a 6, very begrudgingly. I should not be doing this, but yeah. I mean, the dubbing is very funny.
No, you really shouldn't. And like, I think it's on YouTube, so
Yeah,
go find it if you're confused. We'll hopefully sort it out.
under Zombie 90, no one actually called this Zombie 7 at any point, as I've explained earlier. Yeah, it's like someone did actually make a movie called Zombie 8, like on purpose, which I will probably review soon, if not next year. And Zombie 8 is apparently seems like a sequel to Zombie 3, which I guess in my eyes makes it Zombie 5. If Zombie 90 is 94, that makes that Zombie 5. I'm going to make this as confusing as possible because this is in the tradition of the film franchise, is to make the most confusing timeline I possibly can.
There's more? Uh, When does it stop?
Oh,
Sorry?
someone made like a Zombie 8 in like 2018 or something. Hold on. As like a throwback. Zombie 8 Urban Decay 2021 is the film I am talking about.
Okay, so there is an endpoint, is what you're telling me
I mean,
for now.
it's
You want to direct Zombie 9?
no there is an Australian Zombie 2 3 through 4.
Wait, you said 3
Yeah,
till
okay,
4?
so the Australians have their own separate zombie franchise. I do not know why they have that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I give
it's
up.
super dumb. This is nonsense, Cody. Um, yeah, there's a couple weird ones. Like there's like if you go with a zombie film series on Wikipedia, they got they list like the Italian series is Zombie 1 through 3 being Dawn of the Dead, Zombie 2, and Zombie 3. They have the British series, which is Zombie Flesh Eaters. Zombie Flesh Eaters is Zombie 2. Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 is Zombie 3. Zombie Flesh Eaters 3 is Zombie 4 After Death. The German series is Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and then Zombie 3. The Thai series is same as the same as the UK one, but they include Zombie Flesh Eaters 4, which is Killing Birds. And then the Australian series is oh, okay, so that's where the Zombie 8 comes from. They do different films. Zombie 4, it's they do a Zombie 4 which is a movie called Panic. Zombie 5, which is a movie called Vengeance of the Zombies. Zombie 6 The Mirage, which is really a movie called Dawn of the Mummy, and Zombie 7 Last Rites, aka Night of the Seagulls, and Zombie 8 Urban Decay, which we've talked about. The American franchise is basically what I've been covering with like some other weird ones. There's alternate Zombie 3, Zombie 3 Return of the Zombies, which is a Spanish film called La Orgia de la Mortos, aka The Hanging Woman. After that, there's Zombie 4, A Virgin Among the Living Dead. Really a French movie called Princesse de l'Erotisme. Zombie 5, which is Revenge in the House of Usher. Original Spanish title El Judimiento de la Casa Usher, aka Revenge in the House of Usher. There's another Zombie 6 Monster Hunter, which is absurd. The movie Absurd, which I talked about earlier. They have Zombie 7, which is Astropophagus, which is which is the first one because Absurd is a pseudo sequel to this is a Astropophagus, but it's Zombie 7, which is after Zombie 6. There's also a bunch of other random films. There's a movie called Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, was released as Zombie 3. There was Zombie Holocaust, which was released as Zombie 2, which was released as Zombie 3. Hell Living Dead was released as both Zombie 4 and Zombie 5 Ultimate Nightmare. Nightmare City, which was released as Zombie 3. Andrew Le Noti de Terror, aka Burial Ground, which was also released as Zombie 3. Oasis of the Living Zed, which was released as Zombie 4. Panic, which I've mentioned earlier, was released as Zombie 4 in Greece. Weirdly enough, a movie we've covered, someone called Pulgasari Zombie the Communist Bull Monster, which, yeah, that's, this is all, I mean, some of these come from a link from this guy called, who did an article called The Italian Zombie Series Quagmire, which is a dead link, best I can tell. And then there's a few short films. Okay. So yeah, okay. So the website's still up, but yeah, no, that's a dead link. So yeah, it's super weird. This is a absolute quagmire. We are not covering all of these movies, by the way. Just to make it clear, you don't need to be that too afraid.
Fair enough.
Some of those maybe, but not all of them. I'll look over the Australian series just to see if any of those are actually zombie movies, because some of them might not be. So, what are your thoughts before I kick this off? Any thoughts?
I don't know what to tell you. It was not a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you for coming with me on this rabbit hole.
it goes deeper than I thought.
Oh yeah, no, it's nuts. Yeah, like I said, the entire premise of this series was that there are like six different franchises that have spawned from Night of the Living Dead, and I want to cover all of them, and I'm gonna watch all the movies that have the gall to be spawned from it. Maybe one day I'll find one that's actually as good as Night of the Living Dead. Not bloody fucking likely, but there's almost no way.
I think you could probably cover the whole zombie genre pretty conclusively, easily.
And after I do
Maybe.
those movies, I'll review I'll start like going over like where the zombies come from. I might just end up this might end up resulting in like me writing a book about like the origin of the Hollywood zombie or something like that. Because by the time I'm done, I assume I will know everything and reach some sort of nirvana.
I mean, ultimately, like recently I've been on a zombie kick, so this is kind of like icing on the cake. I recently watched Shaun of the Dead for the first time.
Shaun of the Dead's good.
Shaun of the
Yep.
Dead was good. Um and I can't really think of like any movie that's kind of like on the same level of it, mostly because it's like a comedy within the uh zombie genre rather than like a zombie movie. So,
Yeah. The Zombie Lands, I guess, kind of.
yeah, they weren't as
The
good.
first one, I never saw the second one.
Um which might just mean that I like Simon
Oh,
Pegg
fair enough.
and Edgar Wright. So I could probably sit down and watch Hot Fuzz and like probably enjoy it as much
Oh,
as
Hot
I
Fuzz is
enjoyed
good.
Shaun of the Dead. Train to Busan was supposed to be really good, and I haven't watched it because I don't really like subtitled movies. So I know a lot of people are gonna like get angry about that, but yeah, I really do not like having to read my movies.
Oh
So
God, I actually can I just say, I think Hot Fuzz might actually be one of my favorite movies. Definitely in like I think that's firmly in the top 20 for me.
yeah, Tyler was really into it, but like it's sitting on my Discord or my Plex server, so I can watch it at any point in time. I just never got around to it. It's probably up there on my list of movies that I should watch,
It is
but
really good. But yeah, no, after we do like I do the franchise, like I've talked to Curtis about this a bit, but I think at some point I'm just gonna start reviewing like I'll go into like I'll do like a review of like White Zombie and the original I Am Legend book and movie. Last Man on Earth is what I'm thinking of. The original I Am Legend movie.
I don't know. But I Am Legend was actually like it was a zombie movie, but a zombie
Okay,
movie. I don't know if it was a
so
zombie book.
it's super weird because actually the things in I
Um,
Am Legend are supposed to be vampires because they hadn't invented the Hollywood zombie yet.
that was influential in the modern development of zombie and vampire literature. So yeah.
Because I will credit the idea of the modern idea of the zombie is I will credit like Night of the Living Dead with inventing that. That's just because that's just
Hmm.
sort of where I'm at. I will say that they are the one those George Romero and I'm forgetting the writer's name, but I will credit them with inventing the what we consider the zombie, what I might more accurately call a ghoul or a flesh eater.
Oh, Richard Matheson. Yeah, Ghoul also has like some really weird connotations like around the name. I was like, why the fuck do you like classify as a Google? And I think I Googled it because it is coming across in some form of literature I was reading on the internet. And of course, like with Wikipedia, they just have disambiguous pages where you can just click on it and it'll give you a definition. And I think it's like somebody dealing with death. So, like a caretaker or an undertaker would be classified as a ghoul technically in like old literature. So,
The alternate title for Night of the Living Dead, and the reason that Romero never made any money off that movie is because the alternate title, which he has the copyright under, is Night of the Flesh Eaters, and that's why that movie's technically in the public domain, and why he's never made any money off it. Which is why no one
yeah.
cares that he like mildly ripped off Last Man on Earth.
And apparently there was another one. The Last Man on Earth was in 1964, and apparently there was something called the Omega Man that came out in
Mm.
1971. I don't know what it's about, but
Anyway, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Next time we're going to be doing, I don't know, winter of '85 or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe
Sure.
we'll review a hockey movie or something. We're gonna do get back to some Kyle and Cody's called Cinema Cast. Or I might also like have to do a brief poly sci-fi. There's been a development in the world of Pokemon which I might need to bring up.
Uh, there's a lot of politics we need to start bringing up. Like, we're 9 days away from like another 4 years of Donald Trump, and we've already like reestablished yesterday that there's going to be another 4 years of Scott Moe, who's our current premier of Saskatchewan, which blow my fucking brains out. I don't want to like look forward to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, at least with Mo, there's maybe like a light at the end of the tunnel because he's actually like losing ground. But because he only won by like 2 seats or something.
Maybe they'll replace him. That was kind of my hopes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more maybe next time on that. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Goodbye. Go home. Stay kindly. Nope, we're not finishing that joke. I was gonna make a joke about them staying in graves, but no, we're not gonna do that. Goodbye. Take off. Hitting the stop button.